Hello, this is Donna with Vote Voiced, and this is the Vote Voice podcast. I want to thank you for joining us. It's October. We have just a few days left until November the 1st. No more than 4 days left. I want you to follow us on Facebook, like us on Facebook. I want you to follow us on Twitter, Instagram. We're on TikTok. And I need your support. Please support us with your donations. Just go to www.votevoice.com. We need your donations. We need you to support us. We have a secure donating site, and everything that you donate to Vote Voiced is tax deductible. Today, we're going to talk about a few things about voting. If you're in the state of Michigan, and this is where Vote Voiced is, and listen, I try to give you information no matter where you are. Make sure you know about voting in person in your state. In the state of Michigan, you can vote early with an absentee ballot at your local election clerk's office during the 40 days before an upcoming election. On election day, registered voters must vote at their local polling place. Unregistered voters must go to their clerk's office to register and vote there or at their polling place. Okay? Polls in Michigan are open on November 2nd from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And you have the right to vote if you're in line by 8 p.m. Now, you can look up the locations of your clerk's offices and your polling place in the voter information section of michigan.gov. Now, when you do go to vote, you'll need your ID. Now, you will be asked to show ID when you check in to vote, but if you don't have one, you can still vote. Now, if this happens, expect a poll worker to ask you to sign a form before you vote that explains you didn't have an ID. Your ballot will be included with all others and counted on election day. Now, the IDs you can use is a Michigan driver's license or state ID. Driver's license or personal identification card issued by another state. Federal or state government issued photo identification, a U.S. passport, a military ID with a photo, a student identification with photo from a high school or accredited institution of higher learning, and tribal identification with a photo. Now, unfortunately, we have voter suppression bills going around here in Michigan, and the legislature did pass a bunch of voter suppression laws that the governor vetoed. Now, what certain people in the legislature are trying to do now is collect signatures to do an end run around voters and around the governor. You need to make sure that when you're asked to sign a petition about voting, you need to make sure you know exactly what you're signing. Don't support voter suppression laws. What I'm saying is I'm not political. What I'm telling you is you're going to sign away your right to make a decision as a voter as to what laws we pass concerning our right to vote. So I know a lot of people are saying decline to sign. Just really understand what you're signing. Ask them point blank. Are you asking me to sign this petition so that you can pass a voter law without my permission as a voter? And that is exactly what this petition is going to do. We have the right as voters to agree or disagree with any law. Many people are voting on school board issues. We're voting on our mayors. We're voting on our city council. And we have the right to do that. But if someone can just take a petition and get a bunch of signatures and pass a law that takes away a right I have as a voter and I have absolutely no say, this is a disturbing thing as voters we need to look out for. So if you're approached in Michigan or anywhere, this may happen anywhere. If you're approached and they say, you sign this petition, it has to do with voting, make sure you know exactly what you're signing, no matter what kind of petition you're signing, because you could be signing something that takes away a right of yours, okay, instead of giving it. Now, here in Michigan, we have 71 counties that are having elections on November 2nd. I'm going to go ahead and, I wish I could read these counties, but 71 of them. Look, you know what county you're in? Go ahead and make sure that you know what city in your county is voting on November 2nd. Okay? In Wayne County, there's Allen Park Public Schools, Bellevue City, Dearborn City, Dearborn Heights. I know Taylor has an election. Detroit City, Flat Rock, Grosse Pointe, all the Grosse Pointes, Woods, Shores, Hamtramck, Harper Woods, Highland Park, 1st District. Now, Dearborn Heights is school district number 7. Livonia, Northville, Riverview City. They're having elections. Now, I want to say something also, because as voters, the Michigan Citizens Redistricting Commission. I hope I didn't leave out a letter, but the maps have been drawn and everyone has the opportunity to voice their opinion about the maps drawn. So this is the second phase of citizens being able to voice their opinion about the redistricting maps. The redistricting maps affects voters directly. How they draw those maps, and they've been trying very hard to draw them properly, it matters. Now, already there are some issues in some areas, and you need to get out there and make sure in your area that you understand what is being drawn, and you need to find out what you need to do to be able to make your voice heard. You can go to michigan.gov and then just put in the Michigan Citizens Independent Redistricting Commission. And I hope I said that right, but it's the MCRC or the MICRC. I'm sorry about that. But look, go to michigan.gov and just write out Redistricting Commission and put it right in there. A lot of people still haven't spoken up enough or spoken at all. You need to go in there. You need to make sure that you sign up to give your testimony, but see what maps are been drawn. You can follow them on YouTube. Okay, you can put in the Michigan Redistricting Commission and find them on YouTube. They're showing you on YouTube what they're doing. It's been very open. It hasn't been closeted at all. Many organizations have been out there trying to get the word out that people need to go and give their testimony. Okay, there is on the Vote Voice channel of YouTube, there was a town hall that Vote Voice participated in, along with the Western Wayne County NAACP. And it gives a whole hour worth of instruction of how to give your testimony to the Redistricting Commission here in Michigan. There's other people that you can contact. Voters Not Politicians, the League of Women Voters. There's organizations in Detroit. There's all sorts of organizations, and people have been getting the word out for months. So go ahead and make sure, if you haven't given your testimony, make sure you have an input in on the maps. Make sure you know what type of maps are being drawn in your community. You know, people aren't happy in Detroit. Make sure that you know what's going on in your community. Maybe you're okay with the maps. Tell them that. They should hear the good as much as they hear the bad or the unhappy. So if you're happy with your map, say something. Okay? Make sure you get in there. So many people haven't done it. Now, let me go back to the election. If for any reason somebody out there isn't registered to vote or hasn't voted yet, you can still vote early. Okay, you can go into the clerk's office, like I said earlier, and go in there with your proof of identity and your proof of address. And I gave you the list, okay, of what type of ID you needed. Go on in there so that you can vote early. Okay. Now, I know lately a lot of people have been saying that voter registration isn't important. Oh, why are we worried about that? We need to be worried about, who we're voting for. And we do. You must make a plan to vote. You must make sure that you know what's on your ballot. Okay? Know what's on your ballot. Make a plan to vote. Okay? Know where your polling place is. Figure out what time you're going to go. Okay? Organize with your boss if you have to. How are you going to get there? Are you going to ride share? Are you going to walk? Okay. Most polling places are pretty close to where we live. Do you know where? You know what little streets to go down? Okay. Know where your clerk's office is, just in case you need to go vote early. If you're not registered, you can still go in and get registered, okay? You can still go in, register, and then go to the polling place on election day. It's important that we're registered. Being registered and understanding the dates and times and the cycles of voting is important. Because as of October 19th, here in the state of Michigan, you could no longer sign up online. And if you don't have that information, you might be mistaken and think that you can still sign up online and not take the opportunity, if you haven't registered, and go in and register. It's important that we understand how our elections work and the importance of the technical stuff, like what day do you go to vote? What time do you vote? Where do you vote? And the fact that if somebody knocks on your door tomorrow and says that they want to register you and they have a paper that they want to fill out, or they have their tablet they want to fill out, they're incorrect in this. And if you know this, you won't think that you're registered and you're not. Okay, maybe they don't know, but it's important that I need to know that you can't register. A lot of people get upset when they find out that they can't register online, and they'll say, no, that can't be true. But it is true. You can't register online any longer. I can't go walk up to you or set up a table and say, hey, come and register to vote, because that type of voting, that one road of registering to vote is closed. You need to know that you need to go in to your clerk's office and register. If you don't know, if I don't tell you that the polls open from 7 to 8, well, you may go to the polls 6 o'clock in the morning. The polls aren't open at 6 o'clock in the morning. What if you think, I'll go later. I'll go and vote later. But you get there at 8:10. If you're not in line to vote at 8 p.m., you cannot stay in line. You need to be aware of, in your community, do you have to stand in long lines? If you know that it's normal for your polling place for you to have to stand in line for 4 hours or longer, you need to make sure that somehow you've either voted early or you get to those polls early enough to have the time to stand in line. You need to know what kind of voter suppression laws are running in your state. Unfortunately, in the state of Georgia, no one can bring you water or food. So what does that mean? That means you're going to have to lug a lunch pack. And what else do you need to stand in line forever? If there's no drop box in your community, then that means that you need to find out where your clerk's office is so that you can get your ballot or to the clerk's office or vote early at the clerk's office. So I know that it may seem tedious, voter engagement. I know it may seem tedious when I tell you the polls are open from 7 to 8. We need to know this, okay? I know it seems tedious when I say November 2nd is the day you vote, not November 1st, not November 3rd. It isn't one day for Democrats and another day for Republicans. That's not how it works. Everybody votes on the same day. Everybody in your area, your community, goes to the same polling place. It's important that we understand the technical side of voting, of being a voter, understand how our voting rights are in jeopardy through voter suppression laws, and understand how those laws affect us. And we understand that not all laws about voting affects us. Okay? If you have a disability, you need to know that they are making allowances for people with disabilities. They're there to assist you to vote. You need to know that. If you have a child, or, I'm older, so I say child, but if you have a person in your family who has a disability, you need to know how that person has the help that they need to vote. Okay? And you can go to your Secretary of State and find out what type of aid do they have for voting for people with disabilities. Okay? It is important that we understand what's going on with voting, as much as we need to know what our issues are, okay? And who we're voting for. City council, mayor, okay? There's some millages sometimes. I'm not sure who has what. The school districts are up, okay? There are 71 counties, okay? I didn't even bother to count the cities, all right? So it's up to us to make sure that we know what's going on in our county. And not every city in the counties are voting, okay? And we need to keep up with that. And it's really hard because it's like, okay, is so-and-so, we need to know, and it's fun to know. And it's fun to know who's running. And that's the other side of voting. But that's it up to you. That's your individual responsibility. Okay? To know who you're voting for. And I'm sure everybody's getting plenty of mailings from people who are running, from the candidates. And that's wonderful. And you need to decide who you're going to vote for. And that's a wonderful thing to do. Well, I don't think there's anything else I need to talk about. Just, one more time, just remember that you can vote early with an absentee ballot at your local clerk's office, okay? Remember that if you're unregistered, okay, you must go to your clerk's office to register, and you can vote there or you can vote at your polling place. Remember, polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., okay? Remember, if you are in line by 8, you can vote, okay? If you don't know the location of your clerk's office or your polling place, go to your Secretary of State. In Michigan is michigan.gov. Don't forget, be involved with the Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission so that you can have a say in your community of interest and in the maps that they're drawing. Don't forget, okay, that if you don't have ID, you can still vote. They'll just have you sign an affidavit and then you can vote. Don't forget that it's too late to register online. And don't forget to vote. Make a plan to vote, okay? Remind 3 friends to vote, okay? Make sure that your family votes, all right? And if someone needs a ride to the polling place, offer a ride. This is Donna Miller. I am with Vote Voiced. I thank you for your support. Don't forget to make a tax-deductible donation to Vote Voice at www.votevoice.com. Visit us on Twitter. We're on Facebook. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Okay, we're on TikTok. I thank you for your support. You guys have been wonderful. And I always enjoy this podcast. It's October. We have a couple of more months for the holidays. So I'm going to make sure I do something fun for Christmas and try to have a little fun for Thanksgiving too. We deserve to have fun sometimes, especially after this hectic year. Everybody, you have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for listening to Vote Voiced.